What's up? Welcome into Foxboro Rush. I'm George Balekji. He's Travis Thomas T. We doing good today, my man?
You know it. Anytime I'm talking ball with you is a beautiful day, my man.
And we got great people we're talking ball with today.
Yes.
We have the Alex Brown, former Chicago Bear.
Yes.
And he is part of the Briggs and Brown show as well. Joining us to preview the Bears and the Patriots matchup. We'll discuss some of Jerod Mayo's comments after the trade deadline, but also Drake Maye talking about what his biggest learning lessons have been after 4 starts. And the Keagan Stiefel of Nesson.com joins us to take a look at some college prospects because, as you know, for the Patriots at 2-7, it's all about the draft. But let's bring him in right away. He is Alex Brown, longtime Chicago Bear, was a part of that great 05 defense. You could catch him on Briggs and Brown. Alex, how we doing today, my man?
Doing great, man. Doing great. It's been an interesting day. Honestly, it's been an interesting day. We got a very, very interesting football game going on against a team that when I played was extremely dominant. And like y'all just remember right there, or what you just mentioned right there, like you're 9 games into the season and y'all looking at the draft. That's how we used to be. Just so y'all got a feel for how things used to be.
Exactly. That's where I was going to go, George. I was going to say it could be worse. You could be 2-7 there in Chicago, but they do know what that feels like. So I understand, Alex. I understand.
Yeah, Alex, I want to start with, that is what's perplexing, but also these are 2 teams we want to see improvement. The Bears are 4-4. Their last 2 games, we know what happened with that Hail Mary against the Commanders. Then that flat game, 29-9, that loss to the Cardinals. It's been up and down. When we think the offense has its way figured out and they're having juice, they fall off a cliff like last 2 weeks. What's been up with the Chicago Bears this season in your eyes?
I'll tell you what. I think it's discipline. I think it's them learning how to win. I think that is a thing. I think the expectation is one thing. Once you get the expectation, now you got to be able to go out and meet the expectation. And then you have to understand, like, once you start winning, now you're 4-2 and you're looking ahead and you haven't played a division game, but everybody in the country, everybody in the NFL world is talking about how difficult your division is. Could be the most difficult one in the whole entire football league. So you look at that and now you start to, okay, we need to go beat Washington. You got the whole Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels thing. You lose focus late in that football game and you lose it. You didn't play well enough to win, but you put yourself in position at the end of the game to win it. And now you got a guy, Tyreek Stevenson, waving at the fans, and the play is going on. This is something that needs to be nipped in the bud quick. Now you fast forward to the Arizona game, and you have another incident. There's too many incidents coming out of each game. You have a play with DJ Moore. The play is going on. DJ Moore walks off the football field. What are we doing? Like, where they do that at? I guess they only do it in Chicago because I've never heard of anything like that. That is absolutely insane. Both things. When a play is going on, you're waving at the fans, and then you walk off the football field while your rookie quarterback, any quarterback for that matter, but your rookie quarterback is running for his life. Mm-hmm. Like I've heard people tell me through Twitter or X or whatever, say, well, he can't catch the football. But it doesn't matter. He can block.
Yep.
Okay, he can catch the football. He can block. He can help block. It's just, I don't get that mentality. But there's a few things how I feel about that. I didn't see any of this from the Carolina DJ Moore. I didn't see the body language, the bad body language. I just started seeing it, and it just so happened it came after he got $100 million.
Yeah, I mean, he's supposed to be a leader on that team, too. So let me just cut to the chase here, because since that Hail Mary moment with Washington set all this off, and you've run through the incidents here, but now it feels like I'm hearing, well, is Waldron the right guy calling plays? Well, is Eberflus the right guy to coach his team? Take us behind the curtain. Take us into the locker room. I mean, if you're a player on this team, viewing everything from the viewpoint you see it from, if you're a player on the team, Alex, do you feel like this locker room is finished? Is it finito? Has Eberflus lost it, or is there a way to get it back?
Well, I think the leaders of the football team got to step up and do something. I think they got to step up and say something. So, but in today's world, you have these captains that are appointed by not their peers.
Right.
We have captains. The captains that we're told are the captains are guys that have been with the Bears 1 year. He's been with the Bears 2 years. How are you a captain You ain't been here for 8 months. Like, how are you a captain? You know what I mean? Like, that stuff is crazy to me. When people want the quarterback to be the captain. Totally understand it. I get it. But those early days in New England, even you guys can feel me on this one. Those 3 years that Tom Brady, the first 3 Super Bowls, ain't nobody making the mistake of thinking he was the captain of those football teams.
That's right.
Nobody's making the mistake of thinking Jim McMahon was the captain of the '85 Bears.
Yep.
Or when we went to the Super Bowl in 2006, nobody makes the mistake of thinking that Rex Grossman was the captain of that football team. He wasn't. Just because you play the quarterback position, that doesn't mean you're a captain. Just because you're 19 years into the league and Martellus Bennett, I think that's him. Yeah. He's 19, 20 years. Hey, don't make you a captain. It's you've been at the Bears for 6 months. So I don't really understand that part. I don't understand how they come to that. I don't understand why he's there, because you could be using that to get another player. Like, I don't get that, but I don't do that.
George, I promise we'll get back on track, but he brought up the Super Bowl. Did you get a chance? I'm sure you couldn't watch Prince live at that halftime. But Alex, we got to talk about this because he's gone rest his soul. Alex, how did you consume the Prince halftime show? Like, was it after the game you watched it back? Did you get a chance to meet Prince? Can you give me some kind of Prince story? I'm a huge fan. I still think that's the greatest halftime I've ever seen, Alex.
I think it's the greatest halftime show that I didn't see. Like, I don't know. Like, I have no clue what happened during that, outside of my wife is telling me how amazing it was.
Yeah.
That he had purple lights going up in the air, and all of a sudden there's rain coming down, and then he's singing Purple Rain. It was like it's almost like he had a deal with God. It's like, okay, I'm gonna do it at this time. Let's just see some sprinkles, and it's gonna be perfect. And it was like, from what I hear, I've watched it twice. I watched it twice, and the first time I watched it was like years and years after. Because I heard so many people talk about how great it was. So I had, the only thing on my mind that day was stopping Peyton Manning in that running game. And they ran for 200 yards against us. So we didn't do a good enough job adjusting at halftime.
Hey, I'll say, you guys didn't get help on the other side. The offense only got 11 first downs.
Facts.
You guys did your part.
Facts.
You're always on the field. It's tough to get stops against a run when you're gassed. I'm not going to go there, though.
Facts.
But I see where you're coming from, Alex. You pointed out the leadership. And if there's a lack of leadership from the captains on the roster, that's where I expect a head coach to step up. Do you think Matt Eberflus is teetering on the side of possibly losing this locker room? We've had the same discussions here in New England with Jerod Mayo, but Eberflus has been the head coach there. Is he the guy for the job? Do you think he is that now fix and also that long-term fix to lead this Bears team and a Caleb Williams, era in Chicago?
I think that's two different questions. So I think he can coach the football team. I think he is a really good defensive coordinator. I think he is a okay coach, like where you have to handle everything. You got to be on top of everything. So I think he does a decent job doing that. But as far as Caleb goes, you knew last year and I'm meaning like the Bears brass and everybody that kept Eberflus for this year. They knew coming in they were going to take Caleb Williams. Okay, we're going to take Caleb, and you knew that even if this thing goes amazing, that means that Waldron's going to do a great job, and he's probably going to be up for a head coaching job somewhere. You're going to lose him, right? So you knew that keeping Eberflus is going to be shaky anyway with a rookie quarterback, because even if the offensive coordinator I bring in does well, he's probably going to leave, and I'm going to have to find another one. So what you do in that particular situation, I think they did the same thing with Fox here at the Bears when they took Mitchell Trubisky. They kept him. They kept Fox, knowing that you're going all in on this quarterback. You need somebody here that can help him from the beginning. But what you do, they did a very similar thing with Justin Fields. At year 2, he's on his second coach, his second OC. It's just like it's the same thing repeating itself. And I'm not so sure that he's the right guy for the Caleb Williams era. If he's going to take, you can be the D coordinator. And everybody always go crazy. It's like, well, he's not going to do that. He's not going to just be a coordinator. Well, if he gets fired, what is he going to be? He's not going to get another head coaching job. He's going to get a D coordinator job. That's what he's going to get. So that's what I'm offering you right here. You don't have to move. You don't have to do anything. Like, just swallow a little pride and let's go. Like I think that's the way. That's the way that's where it should go. To look at this beforehand and make that decision. But if the guy you want isn't available, then what do? You have to keep the guy you have. But to come out and you hear little whispers about them keeping him next year or through next year, and it's like, why would you do that? I just don't understand that part, especially if a guy like Ben Johnson is available.
Yeah, I had a player from the Colts tell me when Eberflus got the gig that a lot of guys on the Colts weren't big fans of him. So I sort of went into the Chicago gig feeling like Eberflus might not be long for the job. I want to ask you about Caleb, not so much on the field. That'll take care of itself. He's going to have a long career ahead of him. But, Alex, I covered him. I'm from the DMV area. I covered him in high school. He's a rock star legend forever in that area. And then we know the rest of the story, going to 2 big programs in college, and now he's with the big brand with the Chicago Bears and the rest. I want to ask you this. As someone who played for the Bears and Chicago has embraced and loved and it's vice versa. You have too become a staple in that market. What advice would you give to Caleb the guy? Because I'm going to tell you something, Alex. As someone from the outside looking in and watching his evolution, but was there at the beginning, was there at the genesis, I don't love the way he handles the media. I don't love some of the decisions he's made in terms of branding himself. I don't think he's doing a great job in that area. What do you say about that, and what advice would you give to him if he came to you of how Bears fans can embrace him even more in that market?
I right offhand, I tell him just to be you. Whoever you are, just be you. Be as genuine, because people see through that. Be genuine. Don't change and be somebody for Travis over here, and be somebody for Luther over here, and be somebody for Alex in the back. Like, no. Like, you have to be the same person and win. If you win, you're gonna be fine. They're gonna love you. Like, Chicago will love him if he is genuine and he wins. And then they'll try to get to know him a little bit more. And once you understand the story, because a lot of people in Chicago are like, they're hardworking, man, like old school, like just nose to the ground, just gonna go to work. And they love that. That's why they love the fact that the Bears have been a running football team, and they're a defensive football team. You got a quarterback coming in here with his nails painted, and you're like, well, what is this about? But then when you understand why he does it, that right there. Now, I mean, people are okay. I mean, they'll get over that part because they understand why you do it, and like, people love their mom, So, like, if you're gonna do that and in respect, or just to show homage or show respect to your mom, then that's what's up. People are gonna be fine with that. But be you. If that's who you are, and you heard all the chatter, he still does it, which I love. I love it. I think he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be a superstar, man. I really do. I'm gonna take a second. I've never done this. Okay.
All right.
Let's go.
Because I went and bought this.
Ooh.
I'm not even playing.
Okay.
I really think he's gonna be the dude. I really do.
All right. That's an investment. You made an investment.
Exactly.
100%. Yes.
All right.
And you literally put your money where your mouth is. You said he's a superstar. You make an investment like that. Why is he going to be a superstar in your eyes?
I think when you look at what he does, and I'm not comparing him, okay? I'm not comparing him to these guys. I'm just talking about.
I've heard the comps.
Great that I see, okay? When you see a Tom Brady, when you see Patrick Mahomes, when you see these quarterbacks just before halftime or at the end of football games, they score. They find a way to put their team in position to score. The Chicago Bears lost to the Washington Commanders. They did. But when Caleb was put in a position, the last 3 possessions, he put the Bears in position to score. They scored on the first one. The second one, he didn't call the play. Waldron called a running play for the backup center who fumbled it. Okay? So that happens. Now, we get the ball back. he drives down again and scores. When you need it the most, he does it. You know what I mean? It's just like those things. At halftime of the Arizona game, same thing. He's going down. He's going to put you in position to score. And those are the things. Those are the little things. I think he's had, I could be wrong here, but I think he's had 10 opportunities to do it throughout the season. He's done it 9 times.
Wow.
Not necessarily a touchdown, but a field goal or a touchdown to put the team in position to score.
And to point out, and to your point, in that game alone, their first 7 drives were all punts or a loss of downs. Their last 4 drives, he went 59 yards, touchdown. They punted 84 yards, that play call. They went 62 yards and a touchdown. To your point exactly.
I'm telling you, like that's what I see in him. That's why I think he's going to be special. The other stuff you can teach, but when like the old story, I mean, I know you guys are. I'm a little bit older than y'all, but but when you hear the Joe Montana story in the Super Bowl when he looks down and I think he said it was oh man, he saw somebody in the end zone.
John Candy.
Yes. So he says that it's like it takes something to be able to slow your heartbeat down in those big moments. And when you see a quarterback doing that, you're like, he has it. The other stuff we can teach. You know what I mean? I can teach you to look at, he can make all the throws, you know?
Yep.
But you can teach the other stuff. When you can slow your heartbeat down in those big moments, that's the one trait that you really want your star quarterback to have.
Hey, Alex, I'm a child of the 90s, dog, so I had your back on that. I'm well aware of all that 49ers lure you talking about. Now, let's get into how this game will be played, because I'm going to tell you right now, I watch this damn Patriots team every week, unfortunately, and DeAndre Swift should be able to do whatever he wants to do to this defense. Are we going to see a healthy heaping of him here? Do you think this is a Caleb game? Is this going to be a balanced attack? Sort of what do you predict in terms of gameplay on Sunday?
Well, we went into a game earlier this year where we thought like the best way to attack this team was running the football, and Caleb threw the ball like the first 15 of the 17 plays. So I'm not sure what Waldron's going to do, but you get rid of Khalil Herbert for a 7th round pick earlier this week. So now you have Roshan and you have Swift on the roster. And these are the 2 guys that should be getting the football at a very, very high clip in this football game. I think your offensive line, you have to lean on something. You don't want to lean on the rookie quarterback right now. But if you want to lean on that offensive line to run the football, if you look at it, the games where Swift has big games, those are the games we win.
Yeah.
Those are the games we win. Like it's just that simple. So I'm hoping that is the game plan. That we come in and we try to control the line of scrimmage. That's both on the offensive and defensive side of the football. I mean, we got Billings, who is out with a pectoral injury, so he went out last game. So that's going to be a little difficult on the defensive side because once you start to switch guys, that drop off from the first guy to the second guy coming in, it starts to get a little wider when you lose a guy like Billings. So, but as far as the offensive side of the football, once Pryor got in there, we started to move people off the line. He's a big guy, big guard, and hopefully we can do that. Hopefully we run the ball 35 times with Swift and Roshan. So I think if we do that, we have a chance to control the football game and win that.
Yeah, like you point that out. The Patriots, to the opposing offense, they've been outrushed 7 straight games. The worst rushing performance we saw from the opposing team was the Jets 2 games ago. The Pats won, but the running back still went for like 112 yards on them. You bring up Andrew Billings. That's a huge loss because watching back the tape on the Titans-Patriots game, the interior of the pocket was getting blown up continuously, and that's where he's great. No Jaquan Brisker, but this defense still has Montez Sweat. As a guy that played the same position, what about Montez Sweat? The second he landed in Chicago, we saw everything about that defense flip, and they're still playing at a high level this season.
Yes, I think so. Montez Sweat, I think, is a alpha. And when you have a guy like that, when you have a guy, an alpha, we didn't have that on the defensive line. I don't even think we had it, honestly, on the defense at that time. I think you have some guys that have grown a little bit more, and Brisker being one of those guys, I think Brisker's an alpha. I think he is a real dude out there. But Sweat allowed everybody to be in their zone. to do what they do. So what you had was you had a guy trying to be Sweat, and then the guy behind him trying to be that guy, and it just kind of trickled down and had everybody out of position. Once you get Sweat, you got a guy that can still get pressure and still dominate that side of the football, even if he's getting the attention and the double teams. That's fine. He can do it. Now you take that guy that you wanted to be that guy, to be Sweat, and you put him in the position that he's supposed to be in. Now everything starts to flow a little better. And I think that's what you saw last year with the Bears defense and how it took off. I think the offense is the same way. I think once you get that left tackle in position, now you can stop trying to help the guy playing left tackle that shouldn't be playing left tackle. So once you get that, I think the Bears are in that situation where they need that left tackle, and now everything else will kind of smooth itself out and kind of play itself out. So, but Billings is a huge loss. Dexter's going to have to step up. He's going to step up and be bigger. You have to be a bigger player. We're going to have somebody that comes off the bench. You're not going to replace Billings, but what you can't do is look at this as an opportunity to go out and play football. We saw that same Titans football team. They didn't just dominate y'all. They beat the hell out of us too. Yep. So don't worry. They beat us up in the middle of our offensive line. They smoked us. So Dexter is playing at a high level. If he can be that disruptor, I think we got a chance. But I know Ramondre, I think it's Ramondre, right? Ramondre Stevenson. Yep. He's running the football. If you let him, and we've had some gashes. So if you let him get going, and then the play action starts to come into play with May, you could be in trouble because, you might not know the receivers, but they're going to be in the right spot as far as how the Patriots and how Mayo run his deal. If you give him time back there, he can make all the throws. He's a big kid, man. So I don't want the running game to get started. So make him one-dimensional, stop the run. That's the first and foremost thing that we need to do.
Hey, you brought him up. Last one from me, AB. Your thoughts so far on Drake Maye? What do you think?
He's a big kid that needs time, man. He needs time. I wish he hadn't got in this year. I know everybody's clamoring for him. I mean, you're a top pick. They want you. They want the kid in. I wish he hadn't got in. I wish he'd just sit and learn, man. Just sit and learn, because when you're getting experience and the fans see you on the field, you also getting bad reps too. You're starting to you can fall into bad habits, and you don't want that because it's hard to break those habits. So you want to create good habits constantly, and if you can do that over your first year and you don't have to play, then I think it works out better in the end. And everybody tend to go to Mahomes, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go to the guy that y'all had, Tom Brady. I mean, he sat back, and then when he came in, he was kind of eased in. He had a top defense. He had a running game, and then he was kind of eased into becoming that guy that we remember as being the GOAT now. So, but I think he has all the talent. I'm not sure where his head is. I haven't had a chance to sit down and talk to him, but just watching him, he has all the talent to be a starter in this league. And then how hard he works and that stuff is going to determine just how high he goes as far as being a star, being a Pro Bowler, being an All-Pro, and that stuff. Maybe even winning a Super Bowl.
Hey, you compared Caleb to Patrick Mahomes with all the way. Like, that game is there. And you say he's going to be a superstar. I think Drake Maye is going to be a superstar. Not exact game, but career path, Alex. Matt Stafford will be great for a bad franchise that is mishandling a roster, and he'll go somewhere else and make it big. His press conference on Wednesday, he opened up praising Caleb Williams, saying the play's never over with him. Then he was asked about where did he learn the most, and he goes, well, this third down throw, that first down throw. I watch it back. The left guard, the left tackle left him out to dry.
Yep.
He never throws anyone under the bus, no matter how bad the receivers, the play call, the offensive line is. He checks every box as a leader. I don't know if Patriots fans will see that come to fruition, but I like everything you point out. I was with you, man. Sit them. Don't let them develop bad habits. When you're watching the game Sunday, Alex, I know you will. Watch the defense, watch the line of scrimmage, and you're going to walk away going, they're doing Drake Maye dirty by putting him out there.
Hey, I've seen it done. I've seen it done a few times here in Chicago.
Fair.
And when you look at Mitch, and then you look at how they did on Justin Fields and the situation that he was put in. So trust me, when I see it, I'll know it right away.
Yep.
Hey, Alex, loved having you on, man. We'll bring you back on postseason, and we'll do a little, all right, what do you think of Drake Maye now? Maybe we'll talk some Gators football, too.
Oh, okay, sure.
Right,
I'm just playing. Come on. Well, I love my Gators, man.
I know you do. Hey, I know you do. But that's exactly what it is. Big 3 weeks coming up for them. Big Saturday. Yes. Hey, Alex Brown, appreciate you taking the time, man. It was awesome to have you on. Seriously, it was great to have you on, my man. Thanks, you.
Man. Appreciate it, guys. Yep, for sure.
That's Alex Brown. Catch him on Briggs and Brown. And make sure to check out new episodes of Foxboro Rush. New episodes dropping every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, Amazon Prime. And make sure to subscribe on Nesson's YouTube page and follow us on all the socials as well. You can catch the episodes on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch as well. Alex Brown's awesome.
He's awesome. You killed his vibe with the Gator talk, though. You see that?
But what we were talking about before the interview, talking everything Florida Gators, man, that's how we want to talk. That's how all Gators fans feel.
He is hurting.
Hey, so talking about fans that are hurting, it's still Patriots fans. And Trav, I always sit through the Jerod Mayo, Drake Maye pressers. We always do. We watch them together. What jumps out at us?
Right.
And the big topic coming in was, what do the Patriots do at the trade deadline? Mm-hmm. And Jerod Mayo was asked why a deal didn't get done at the deadline. Mm-hmm. And his answer was, I'm not sure. Pause. I mean, look, for us, it's about value. It's about thinking about the present, also trying to get better in the future. But when you listen and watch that, he said, I'm not sure. And you see his head go, oh, there's a mic here. I'm in a room. Right. And it was that awkward pause of like, that's not the answer, right? Like, that's not it. He had to make up for it. The front office dropped the ball. You, me, and Keagan were on here saying they dropped the ball at the deadline. They didn't sell enough. Just offloading guys to get better like a KJ Osborne. Just getting rid of guys like a Tyquan Thornton just to get a return on them. What's bad is when from day one he's preached collaboration, right? It's him, it's Alex Van Pelt, it's Elliot Wolf, it's Jerod Mayo, it's Elliot Wolf, it's Robert Kraft. He always preached collaboration. You cannot preach that. And then when you're asked why a deal doesn't get done, you go, I'm not sure. Right. Lie.
Right.
Lie. Just use that second half. You cannot say there's collaboration and then say I'm not sure, because obviously there isn't collaboration, and if there is, you don't like it because you just threw the GM under the bus.
I told you from the beginning, I appreciate the transparency, but he's too damn transparent. Yeah. Sometimes you do need coach speak. Sometimes you do need to lie to us. The only thing the Patriots did right in this case is, and you and I heard all the reports, and we've talked about this with Keegs, that teams around the league did pick up the phone and inquire about some of these players. The only thing the Patriots did right in this case was they didn't put out there that we are shopping X, Y, and Z. It did not come from the franchise, and then these teams were not interested, and now you have to have all these players come back, and they're like, what the hell? You tried to trade me.
Yep.
At least they didn't botch it in that way, as we've seen some franchises, some teams do all across sports, no matter what the sport is, at the trade deadline. Now all of a sudden guys come back into your locker room, and they know damn well you were trying to move them. So at least the Patriots didn't do that, because George, I mean, they got enough Shaq going on around there. They don't need that on top of it. You got guys unhappy anyways. The last thing you need is that we tried to deal you and we couldn't get it done. So at least they have that going for them.
It's just a drop. It's a drop from the front office.
It's a fumble.
And it goes back to, like, we laid out the draft.
Yep.
And with the free agency, like, your answer was Chuks Okorafor, our left tackle, who couldn't even play it before he went AWOL.
Yeah.
And you had Nick Leverett as a signing, and you ended up cutting him. You have the Layden Robinson, where you start him and you bench him. You start him and you bench him. And you have elsewhere where KJ Osborne was a miscalculation. And obviously, as Alex Brown just spoke about how important leadership is in rooms, the leadership in the wide receiver room is terrible.
Yeah.
And if you keep it KJ Osborne in there, then he sets the example for a Jalen Polk and a Javon Baker of, you can F around, you can say what you want, you can post what you want, and nothing will happen. You'll be good. You'll still get on the field. It's just, this is another layer when you hear Jerod Mayo up there, and he just goes, I'm not sure. And then he realizes right away he has to cover himself up, and Elliot Wolf for that misspeak, that's when it's bad. What does give me faith with this team, as we were just talking about with Alex Brown, is a leader they have in Drake Maye. He was asked after 4 starts what he's learned the most, and here's what he had to say. Great soundbite from him.
Yeah, I got to protect the football. That's the biggest thing. I think there's times where my decision making and whether it's ball security in the pocket and knowing when that timer goes off in my head, little things like that. And other than that, just taking the right play, I think, is the biggest thing. Taking incompletion. That last, it's first down, knowing the situation, or at a third down and around midfield, the first interception I threw. I think sometimes a punt's not the worst thing there. Or maybe you go try to make a play, check down, and kind of get a broken tackle and pick up the first. So kind of knowing the situationally, kind of what's the best play for this football team instead of kind of being as aggressive in certain situations. I think you're growing that and storing these situations and these kind of in my memory bank for times when, hey, I did this last time, maybe try a different thing or maybe try to be more conservative and kind of know when to attack these football teams because I'm going to be aggressive that kind.
Trav, you know why I love that?
What
did I tell you about what being an NFL quarterback's about? It's not just making the big plays. It's living to play another down.
Sure.
And he just said it there. And the two plays he pointed out, which I love, is like the immediate coaching he's taking. He watched the tape, he watched the film on Monday, watched it again on Tuesday, and Wednesday he's getting ready to prep for the Bears.
Yep.
He goes, other than that, just taking the right play is the biggest thing. Taking an incompletion, that last first down, knowing the situation. So that last first down, it's 1st and 10. They're on the Tennessee 23, 40 seconds left in the game. And he takes a deep shot down the seam to Kendrick Bourne, where he tried to fit the ball in between two defenders. Now, Drake Maye was hit as he's thrown, and he was off his back foot, forcing the ball to Kendrick Bourne, but it's because Michael Jordan was absolutely terrible in his pass pro.
Yes.
And Drake Maye was lit up by the defensive lineman in that as he's throwing. So it was a bad ball, which he could have fit in there.
Yep.
If he stepped into the throw, it would have been a touchdown to Kendrick Bourne. I'm confident because of his ability. He didn't throw the offensive line under the bus. But even in that, where he's looking, he goes, you know what? Take an incompletion, live to play another down. As he's getting hit, he had Pop Douglas underneath. And then he said, or that third down around midfield, the first interception I threw. 3rd and 8. They're on the New England 49. He was targeting Jalen Polk, but Jeffrey Simmons with a stunt on Michael Jordan, who got sucked into the inside, lit up Drake Maye. And Michael Jordan, again, did him no favors at all. Didn't throw his left guard under the bus. Didn't throw his left tackle under the bus, too, who got absolutely beat. Best case, he could have checked it down to Ramondre Stevenson, but he's not looking in that direction. Throws it to Hunter Henry at his feet and just lives to play another play.
Yep.
But the immediate coaching he's taking and the immediate accountability.
Yeah.
And that's what makes him a great leader. And those are the intangibles you want from a quarterback. He took full ownership on both plays where, yes, he could have done something better, but also there was a lot going wrong around him where he didn't throw a single person under the bus.
Okay. I completely agree with everything you said.
And
okay?
I'm not bailing out Michael Jordan and Alex Van Pelt.
No, nor should
it's
you.
their fault.
It is their fault.
Cool.
They're awful. We agree on that. And I agree with everything you said.
Cool.
However,
Here we go.
if I'm picking nits here,
Yep.
we're talking about the maturation of Drake Maye, living to play another down, I believe was your quote.
Yeah.
And it's great that we're seeing that. But there were some things I wanted to hear here that I did not hear. Like, I don't know, words like slide, terms like protect myself, get out of bounds, get down sooner, not take as much punishment and hits. I didn't hear any of that. So this is the maturation of a young quarterback. You're going to get some things, but not all of it at once. So now that we are check down Charlie when we need to be, I saw him throw away a couple passes during the game. Good, throw it away.
Great to see. It's what you want.
These are great things you're doing, buddy. Here's a next step in your evolution, okay? Protect yourself because you're going to get decapitated with some of these damn hits. This offensive line's not doing you any favors. And even going back to our Alex Brown interview, George, when we asked about Drake Maye, he described the same stuff we heard on draft night. He was like, yeah, I mean, he's big, physical, can throw, but he's raw. He needs more time. I wish he had sat longer. It's like, bro, yeah, like that's part of this. I don't want people to just look at Drake Maye and think that's a big, strong, physical meathead who could throw the ball of football over those mountains. Like, no, he's becoming a quarterback. But part of that is you got to have longevity in this game, brother.
Yep.
You got to be around and available long enough to develop. So I need to hear more of that. And we're not hearing more of it because I don't believe the geniuses in charge are preaching that to this young man, and it's unfortunate.
It is like Alex Van Pelt said, he's teaching him to slide head first. I don't know why, or more of like dive head first when he runs.
Genius, right?
Yeah,
Idiot.
and he did bring it up too. Later was asked another like follow up in a way. My first and second down decision making has been pretty big. One high, two high stuff.
Yep.
Props to TC in the quarterback room. Really, other than making some plays with his feet, picking up first downs on third downs, hoping to do more with that. And asked if he's an instinctive runner.
Right.
He said, and where he wants to get better as well, I need to feel it back there. I'm a passer first, but if a defense is dropping 7, rushing 4, there are rush lanes. His processing is way ahead of what I thought it would be. But to your point, yeah, he needs to slide. He needs to get out of bounds. And you know what? Drake Maye is doing an amazing job, given one of the worst offensive lines, one of the worst receiving rooms in the league, one of the worst play callers in the league, because there still is a lot of bad spacing, and a head coach that is still learning on the job. For him to at least even recognize, hey, when they're dropping 7, rushing 4, I know something's there. He's processing all this and calling out stuff like that. I give him props in that sense. Hey, you want to join the chat? Make sure to email us, thechat@nesson.com, or you could call in 617-790-0928 as well. You leave a voicemail, you send an email to the chat. We'll play it on Foxboro Rush, wherever you get your podcast, and make sure to follow us on all social media channels as well. All right, let's bring him in now. He's been patient. He's been waiting. Let's talk college football. No Florida Gator talk. Well, there will be some, actually. Keagan Stiefel of Nesson.com.
That's my dog.
This is something I'm excited to get started with, Trav. Keeks, how we doing, my man?
Doing all right. If you make me talk about the Florida Gators, I'm leaving.
I will.
I'm not doing it.
I will talk Florida Gators.
All right.
But I will talk about who I'm watching matching up with the Florida Gators. So, something we want to get started, and college football nerds like us, we love to spend our Saturdays, even when it's sunny, 70 and sunny, in October, New England, when you should be outside, we're inside watching it.
My wife's thrilled, George. She loves that. Every beautiful Saturday we've been getting, Daddy's at home watching college football.
My favorite question from my girlfriend, it's not Sunday. Why is there football on? She hates it.
They don't know that we're in the midst of like 85 straight days of football.
I love it,
beautiful.
Dude. And we have a great weekend of matchups coming up.
Yes.
But one thing we're going to get started, we're going to do it every week on the show, which I'm excited about. We're going to have Keegs on, and we're going to talk the prospects that the Patriots fans should be watching for.
Yep.
And people always go, why do you watch college football if the product's not good as the NFL? These are the guys that will be in the NFL one day.
Yeah.
On top of the pageantry and the madness. But Keegs, let's start with, you always are going to bring in a few guys for us to watch on Saturdays, and for the fans listening and watching, who's someone they need to be watching this Saturday?
I'm gonna get this started hot with some offensive line talk, and I know my guy George loves talking offensive line.
Wake me up when you guys are done.
But on a serious note, if there's one thing that needs to be fixed in New England, it's the offensive line.
Yes.
And there's a guy playing this weekend against one of, they're not quite what we thought they might be coming into the season, but offensive tackle Will Campbell out of LSU is a dude, and he is playing the Alabama Crimson Tide this weekend. Big weekend for him, for the draft, for the Patriots, to see whether or not they want to bring this guy in. He's going to be an early first-round pick. Mm-hmm. Do the Patriots really want to lean that way? I'll get more into it, but I'll give you a little scouting report on Will Campbell, because the strengths, there's a ton of them. 6'6", 325 pounds. Technically, he might be the best prospect we've seen in a couple of years. He's not the biggest, obviously, but he rarely makes mistakes. Fluid lower half helps him mirror speed rushers. That's scout talk, but he fits the scheme that the Patriots run. Outside zone, if you're running the ball, you want a tackle who's athletic, who can get out in space and make those blocks on cornerbacks, safeties, linebackers, whatever it might be. He can do that, and I think he does that better than anybody else in this class. And then the big thing with Will Campbell, the stuff that everybody touts about him and that they have since he came in as a freshman and started immediately at LSU, which is pretty ridiculous, is the personality. They gave him the number 7 patch, which if you know anything about the Tigers, they give that to the best playmaker from the state of Louisiana. He plays tackle. Yeah, he plays offensive tackle, but he's their best playmaker, and they knew it from the jump. Like I said, he started as a freshman. And if you've seen the video of him after they beat Ole Miss, he had about 80 pass blocking snaps in that game, didn't give up a single pressure. In that video, I can't repeat what he said because we'll get thrown off the air, but this guy's awesome. The personality, the leadership standpoint that he brings to the table, a ton of really great stuff. On the flip side, the weaknesses.
Yep.
He's got just about every red flag that you worry about when you're bringing an offensive tackle into the NFL in that transition from college football to the NFL. Short arms, his base it's pretty skinny. He doesn't have a great anchor. Can he fit into multiple systems? You don't really know. So this is a guy that if you're going to bring him in the first round, number 3 pick, let's say, number 2 pick, number 1 if you're picking that high, he's a guy where you might have to transition him to guard. And we saw it a couple years ago where the Patriots took a guard in the first round, and it was a Shaq show, as Travis would say. So A lot of strengths, a lot of weaknesses. This is a guy that I'm going to be watching every week moving forward because I think there's a big disparity between where he should be drafted versus where he might actually end up going.
I love the sigh from George. That was my favorite part.
Because where they are, they need a left tackle immediate. And you know they're going to do this through the draft, which is a smart general manager move. You get a good left tackle and cost control. And him matching up this weekend with LT Overton, John Marion Latham, like those are two very good edge rushers, especially Overton.
It's Alabama.
For Alabama. Exactly.
It's Alabama.
Alabama edge rusher going to be elite.
Right.
But he's right in pointing out the short arms. Like I had Matt Miller on about a month back and talking about the two tackles, that was a red flag on Will Campbell, was his shorter arms. Now, he does have, at this point, this Saturday, will be his 38th career start. To be a true freshman starting at LSU, that's great football experience.
Yeah.
Leverage isn't great. The footwork doesn't exactly cover up that lack of length that he has at his arms. And he does have good hand placement. He is in a pass-heavy offense. There's a goods, there's a bads. Trav, the important thing, and Keegan, the important thing, if you're going number 1 overall, you're not picking a guard. You need to pick a tackle. And I think that's the best thing you point out about Will Campbell on that.
Yeah,
It's a guy that needs to protect Drake Maye.
Right. And one quick thing just in terms of those red flags that I talked about, it very well could go the other way. It could be the fact that, this guy played in the SEC. He's playing against the Alabamas of the world, the Ole Misses, these top flight edge rushers that are coming out of the draft every year. And I think he has 4 pressures allowed this season through 9 games.
Yeah.
Like, the guy is absurd. So he very well could just step into the NFL and be a dude right away. But the problem with these red flags is that when they pop up, teams will either pass right over them because they see stars in their eyes, they love the way this guy leads, whatever, and then he comes in, they got to move him to guard, or they flag him, they don't take him, they either trade back, they take a different tackle, or they take a different position entirely, and then he's a 9-year All-Pro, and he ends up walking into the Hall of Fame.
So Patriots.
A very volatile player, Will Campbell.
Yeah, and especially they're going to be picking top 3, possibly top 2.
Yeah.
We'll see when the board is set. Space is cleared. Everyone has their own first-round draft pick after the trade deadline. It's the first time it's happened in a long time in the NFL. But we'll see after the season what happens with first. If the Patriots want to trade back but stay in the top 10, they need to hit because, again, everything rotates around Drake Maye. And, Trav, everything you pointed out of you want to see him have a long career, part of that is not just him sliding.
Yeah.
It's also his me protecting his blind side. Someone else I'm going to say to watch for Saturday, it's Kelvin Banks of Texas.
That's right.
And similar stature. He's only 6'4", but he has longer arms, and we know Elliot Wolf loves long arms for his offensive tackles. And he's athletic enough with his feet to make up for that lack of size. He could be a good pulling tackle where motion at the snap is very important in today's NFL, especially when you have an athletic quarterback like Drake Maye.
Maybe not New England, but...
Maybe not New England, but hey, get a new offensive coordinator in there.
Right.
Motion at the snap will be important,
Facts.
which are glimpses, and then it goes away. Great fluidity. Again, mirroring edge rushers is important. Just you want to get your guy enough time. You don't have to stop them, but can you keep them from getting to the quarterback in under 2.7 seconds? That's the goal. You point out Will Campbell's production, 307 pass block snaps for Kelvin Banks this season, 1 sack, 3 pressures allowed. Blocking for a Quinn Ewers, who isn't the most athletic, or an Arch Manning, who's very athletic, but he's pass blocking for 2 different types of quarterbacks. And the latter, an Arch, mirrors what a Drake Maye can be. He's matched up with Florida. Tyreek Saps, George Grum's not great. They're not NFL guys, but they're good pass rushers. Nonetheless, you watch him and just keep your eye for the left tackle for Texas because, in my opinion, he should be the left tackle for the Patriots.
Well, let me ask you both this because, I don't participate in this offensive line talk. I defer to you guys. Next episode, when we start breaking down wide receivers, running backs, things of this nature.
I sprinkled one in there for you, Trav. I got one this week.
This from what I'm taking away.
Yeah.
Is Banks the safer pick and Campbell has a higher ceiling, a little more risk? That's what I'm hearing in both of your breakdowns.
I think they have a very similar ceiling. Kelvin Banks has a higher floor.
Okay.
I would agree with that.
And that's what's important. There's the hit rate on offensive tackles is very high.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with Kelvin Banks, I didn't bring up him being a guard once. If there's even the fact that you could possibly be a guard, that's what would turn me off if I'm the Patriots.
Okay.
And again, we'll see how the board falls. Like the Saints need offensive linemen. They also need a quarterback.
Yeah.
The Panthers need a quarterback. They'll be picking up there.
Right.
The Giants have their offensive line sorted out. They need a quarterback. That's what's important. And how far they trade back, you want to be in the perfect spot if you want to get value. You don't want to be stuck with Will Campbell, in my opinion.
Okay.
But They both have a high ceiling, and I wouldn't hate either. There's the preference. Kelvin Banks is the guy.
And with these two guys specifically, one of the things is it's what you value. Because Will Campbell's going to be a good player. It's just where is he going to play? Is he going to play at left tackle, or is he going to have to move into guard?
Yeah.
But you're going to guarantee yourself a damn good offensive lineman out of him. With Kelvin Banks, there is, you say a higher floor, but that floor could still be Trent Brown, but maybe a little bit smaller.
Right.
And are you spending the number 3 pick on Trent Brown, but smaller? Because that's kind of what Trent Brown was just a behemoth. And Kelvin Banks isn't that. So what do you value? Do you want make sure you're getting a good player, or do you want to make sure you're getting an offensive tackle and a guy who could be there for the long haul?
Yeah, and a guy that I like with Kelvin Banks too, he's good at getting to the second level. He's flexible to get downfield, helps a lot with the run game, and we see how bad the Patriots are in the run game as well. I know we're talking draft right now. Make sure to check out the latest episode of Hold My Banner. Wherever you get your podcast, it's everything Celtics you need. That is Hold My Banner, hosted by Travis Thomas, hosted by Ante Campbell. Great time right now to be a Celtics fan to the start they're off to, but also they'll be talking as well. You know it. What is up with Jaylen Brown and that hip, but also how did Jason Tatum look against the Warriors in that rematch? That's wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple, Amazon Prime, and on Nesson's YouTube page as well. Trav, I wasn't going to bring Keagan on without helping you. Keegs, who's a receiver you want to watch? I got you, bro. I got you.
I told you I had you, Trav. It's not one of the big names, though.
But there we go.
He's a damn good receiver, and he's a really fun player to watch. Wide receiver Ricky White out of UNLV.
Okay.
I'm just going to bring one quick stat to you, Trav.
All right.
4 punt blocks in the last 2 years, 3 of them in the first 3 weeks of this season. He's a game changer. This is a guy who could come in immediately and contribute. Is he going to be your number 1 wide receiver? Maybe not. 6'1", 190 pounds, average size, but he's versatile. This is an XYZ kind of guy. You can put him in the slot. You can put him outside. You want him running that backside slant in the red zone, he can do that too. He can do a little bit of everything in an offense. And is he like a Marcus Jones where you just throw him the ball and let him run around like we did a couple years ago here in New England? No, probably not. But he's a guy who you can put at any position on the offense, and you can trust that he's going to give you a good route. He's going to get open, and he's going to, at times, break one open. So really fun player to watch. Maybe not a guy who's going to get drafted in the first, second, or third round, but a day 3 pick who can bring value on special teams. And my brain has been brainwashed by Bill Belichick because I saw this guy, and I was like, oh, Bill's going to love him. Bill's working for Underdog Fantasy at this point. So, unfortunately, maybe one suitor is gone, but I know somebody in the NFL is going to love him, and a lot of guys in that building at One Patriot Place who learned from Bill Belichick and might value these things more than other teams.
I think it's important. You say he's 6'1", 190. Elliott Wolf's profile is a 6 foot, 200+ pound receiver. You put weight on him, and this is a guy that splits time between 65% lining up out wide, 35% in the slot. He's good down the middle. He's good deep down the field too, especially left middle part of the field. You want receivers over the middle because that's Drake Maye's favorite place to throw the ball. But a guy like him with his versatility, and he's bigger, you hear a speedster, you hear someone like that, I'm wondering, well, they have Pop Douglas, so they need another. No, he's a complementary piece. And Trav, look, this draft, and to our listeners too, but as you can tell, I always have to talk Trav into listen, this is the plan of the draft. This is the vision. The Patriots draft will go tackle in the first, playmaker in the second, possibly playmaker again in the third, or edge or corner. I think they need to walk away with 3 playmakers in this.
Okay.
If it's 2 receivers and a tight end, receiver, running back, tight end. If it's 3 receivers, I don't care. They need to accrue bodies and figure out who works because that receiving room is really bad. You're not bringing Tyquan Thornton back. You're not bringing KJ Osborne back, but you need immediate impact guys. And a value pick like a Ricky White, if he could be on there, get you 5 catches a game, can get you 40 yards, can be a consistent chain mover at that floor, and be a contributor on special teams where they need help as well, as we've seen, that could be a big ad. I like that pick, Keegan. Never heard of him before until you texted me about him, and I do like what I see from Ricky White at UNLV.
Think about what Kayshon Boutte has brought to the table in year 2. Obviously, his rookie year struggles, but he's just been a dependable receiver who they've thrown around in a bunch of different spots. You can use more than just one of those guys. And with the added special teams value, I know no one else in the world probably, it's definitely in this room, cares about it.
No.
But
I do.
It's a big thing that these teams value because you need to fill out those special team spots.
It's just Ebony and Ivory, Trav and I.
Yeah, I need a game breaker.
I don't care about special
I don't
teams.
care, man.
I'll be honest.
What's his 40?
Who's your guy?
You could draft a whole offensive line. I'm good with that, but you better overspend and get some receivers in here.
Fine.
I'm
Love
fine
it.
with that plan.
Yes. I wanted them to trade for T. Higgins.
I'm good with that.
I wanted that to happen. They didn't do it.
They also tried, and these guys, for whatever reason, just uninterested. So
We've talked about it. It's a conversation I'll never go. They tried hard. Brandon Ayuk was using them.
Yeah.
The Calvin Ridley
Rude.
one, I'm not saying he would have solved everything, but I would have liked to see more pursuit of a true number one in this offense, given this roster.
Right.
Like a Hollywood Brown. I know he was injured, but he would have helped in development, and maybe that's a guy you keep and extend, and he would have been a good 2, and then everyone falls into place after you could
Right.
draft a 1 in this draft. Same thing with the Jonah Williams. Yes, you need a left tackle. He would have been a good left tackle. He got injured with Arizona, but you never know what could happen if he's in New England. Trav, I know you're all about Luther Burden at Missouri, bro.
I like him.
If the Patriots
Yeah.
did right in picking past tackle talent,
Yep.
then Luther Burden
Right.
would be in the discussion. I would give you that. But he's going to go too high, and he's
I
going to be
think so,
gone by
too.
the time they're picking receivers.
Pretty much all the guys I like, I think, will be gone.
That's
I
fair.
think Burden will be gone. I like Travis Hunter. If you have a conversation with him and say, are you a wide receiver in the NFL? We're
Yeah.
not going to play the game here. Do you want to be a corner or a wide receiver?
Yeah.
Not to say we can't get you some packages for both, but you're not going to do this full-time
Right.
nonsense you're doing in Boulder.
Yeah.
If he says I'm a wide receiver, I buy it. The kid is special. I like him as well. I just want game-breaking
Yeah.
wide receivers. That's what Burden is. That's what Travis Hunter is. I
Yeah.
like that kid in Oregon, Evan Stewart
Yeah.
as well. Not as game breaker as those other two, but great hands, great route runner. You just need guys who can break a game open. That's what the Patriots lack right now, and these are all dudes I'm interested in.
If I told you the Patriots could draft Garrett Wilson, like literally just add
Right.
Garrett Wilson in the offseason, what would you say?
Sign me up.
That's Travis Hunter if he's a wide receiver.
Right.
Right.
But
Sign
he's
me
going to
up.
go way too high. But
I
I'm
would-
with
Sure.
you in that all the
Will
way.
say, I think this is something that Trav's going to like. One of the things about this offensive tackle class is it might not be high end like we've seen in the past,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's deep.
Right.
So you can make the decision that maybe we'll just draft Travis Hunter and we'll figure out the tackle thing in
Sure.
the second round.
Sure.
It's risky. You've already tried that kind of, and it doesn't look like it's working out too well.
Yeah.
But
He's a
Travis
game breaker.
Hunter, he's the kind of player that you would be willing to risk the number one pick
Absolutely.
and say, give me a cornerback and a receiver with
Right.
this one pick, and we'll get the tackle in the second round.
Absolutely.
Yeah, don't sleep on Josh Simmons out of Ohio State. But that's, again, how does a board fall, what he's projected at.
Right.
And then that can happen. A Luther Burden, a Travis Hunter, if you are very confident. And this is when I would like to see Ellie Wolf get aggressive. Trade back into the first. Don't leave it up for chance.
Love it.
Trade away a second, a future one.
Love
I don't
it.
care. And get your tackle now. Reach for Josh Simmons, but if you would have taken him in the second anyway, but you get him end of the first and everything falls, you get your tackle, you get your receiver, you have your quarterback.
This guy coming off an injury, you can take advantage of stuff
right.
like
That
that.
is
That's
true.
right.
That is true. Hey, he's Keagan Stiefel Keeks. Appreciate you stopping by, man. This will
Appreciate you
be
having me.
weekly. We'll have you guys on Foxboro Rush. Normally dropping on the Wednesdays. This is a special week. We want to put it on the Friday to take you into the weekend. He's Double T. I'm GB. Thank you again to Alex Brown, AB, for hopping on the pod as well. He was awesome. Patriots Bears this Sunday. And as you know, new episodes of Foxboro Rush every Monday, Wednesday, Friday dropping. We'll see you guys then. Have a good one.